What is the best day on a school calendar? It's not your first holidays, or it's not your mid-sem break. It's not the first day even. It's probably the day where all your exams are over and you're just chilling. And my routine was this, some cookies like this. I would also have tea. Now fast forward a few years later, the exact same thing happened. Uni exams over. I was just relaxing. Now one day I decide, now that everything is behind me, I'm going to make sure today I'm going to relax completely. My tagline for that day was no pressure, no stress. So I wanted myself to wind down, to forget about exams, to forget about university, just focus on enjoying that day. I started playing for 2 hours. It was all fun. 3 hours, I was still enjoying stuff. 4 hours, I was addicted to the game. But you know when the 5th hour rolled by, it was like I was dragging myself through. Funnily enough, that day I had to go out late. So I wanted to stay up till then because I knew if I'd slept any earlier, I'd probably miss out on the time going out with friends. So I really had only one option, that is to just keep playing. So imagine, I started playing at around 12 p.m. all the way to now, it's around 6 p.m. 7 p.m. rolls by. And at this point, what I was doing was I was just trying not to sleep. I didn't care what else was happening. I just knew I had to meet my friends later, so I could not sleep. And then it became a chore. You know how when you study something, you know how you see the time ticking by second to second to second, but when you're doing something fun, it doesn't even matter. It's like, for me, every second seemed like 10 seconds. And I was looking at the clock every second thinking, okay, when's it going to be time for me to leave? When can I do something else? Guys, that time never came. Even though it was time, it was around 11 p.m. I didn't end up going with my friends because you know why? I realized my brain was fried. And when I say fried, it was fried to the point where I'd never felt like this when I studied for exams very close to the deadline, when I had done assignments close to the deadline, when I'd gone for workouts, when I'd gone running. Never felt this deflated, It was just this one time where I decided to marathon sprint through the things I like. So then I thought about it. Where am I going wrong? I did the things I like. I would assume once I'm done with everything, I'll probably be re-energized to the point I can tackle anything that comes across. What I missed out on that very day was any physical interaction and mental stimulation. So this got me to think of even the routines I do on a daily basis on a totally different wavelength. So simply put, I divided routines into 3 different things. The first one would be something that gets you out of the house, something that gets you moving. Sometimes it was just a 5-minute walk, sometimes 10 minutes walks, and sometimes to the mall. Sometimes it was just to the park close by. The idea was get out of the house so that you see different things, new inspiration hits you, and this makes you think more about what's around me instead of just what's in my head. If you really think about what an extrovert does, what causes them to do the things that they do, how are they so interactive? It's because they are exposed to more things than you maybe. If you are cooped up in your home, there's only so many things you're exposed to. What is it? Let's say you live by yourself. You're probably exposed to what? Your phone, that one room around you, maybe your TV, maybe your games if you have it. And take it from me, I know, if you're an introvert, the one thing you do not want to do is go out of your way for social interaction or for things that you are very uncomfortable doing. Sometimes it's not that you don't want to do it, but just you think, why should I go through the trouble of going somewhere and interacting with other people if I don't want to? And sometimes all it took was, just seeing other people walking around, other people's interactions and what other people do. That gave me not only inspiration, but rather just the mental reset that I needed to get my head back in the game and do what I wanted to do, And the second thing is learn something new. Now you would think, is that learning coding? Is that learning what I'm studying in uni? No, that's not at all what I'm saying. So when I say learn something new, I mean something as simple as, let's say you walk down the street that you live on, but normally you go straight down the street, right? Instead of that, there's an alleyway that you haven't explored yet. You go down that alleyway and then maybe you find new shops. Let's say you found a flower shop and somebody asked you about a flower shop. Before this, you never knew that there were any flower shops around you. But now the fact that you know that there's a flower shop around you, if somebody comes and asks you, hey, do you know any recommendations for flower shops around you? At least you have this one thing that you could tell them, oh, there's this flower shop down the street. And that is something that you did not know yesterday, which could help you later on in the future. Or again, you interacted with friends and maybe they told you about something you had no clue about before. Now that's something new that you can either research on, maybe that's an interest of yours, something that you did not know yesterday. The third thing, interact with a human being. Go talk to them physically. If you can't talk to them, you can even message them. Preferably do not message people, but rather try to have physical interactions. If it's at home, with your partner or with your parents, whoever lives with you, you can still have that. Now, if you live alone, then make it a point to at least check in with friends or to call friends, hang out with friends or whoever it may be. Make sure that you have at least one or possibly even two human interactions every single day. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can just be a simple interaction, but make sure you get at least 2 interactions with human beings every single day. Now, let's say it's physically impossible with the area you're in that you cannot interact with a single human being. Take it online. You probably have friends online and you can text them as well. Just keep in mind that physical human interaction always outweighs anything you can do online. Because if you want that extrovert routine, what do they focus on? They interact with real human beings in person. Because there are things you can't teach on text. There are things you can't see on text, which you can see in real life. And that adds on to not just your mental health, but at the same time, helps you grow more as a person as well. Take it one level at a time. Don't try to do all 3 at the same time. Out of these 3, choose one thing that you thought, yeah, I could do it today. And start doing that on a daily basis. And once that becomes a habit, then you move on to the second thing and then the third thing. When you focus on even a relaxing routine, make sure to include these 3 things. It doesn't matter. Your most productive day and your least productive day should at least have these 3 things. If you guys found this one useful, then go and check out the video on the right. So smash subscribe, slap a like on, and always remember, never stop dreaming. See y'all.